I knew nothing about Jekyll Island before I got there. It is, in fact, an island, and the only way over is one bridge. The island is owned by the state of Georgia, and it'll cost you $8 to come over that bridge. This is the Sydney Lanier Bridge. It costs $10 million. Quite different from Driftwood Beach. These are brick buildings. Not the summer cabin looking, but full-time living looking. There are only 589 people who live here permanently. The median age is 70, and almost all households have 2 people and no children. Jekyll Island is pretty developed. That was the conference center. Some big hotels. And 3 golf courses. Golf course. Oh shit, there's the ocean. There's a lot of good beach access on Jekyll Island, but there's also a lot of history, and we're going to go see some of that first. The Creek Nation people were the first inhabitants, and then, of course, there were the Spanish and the French who fought over it. And finally, the English built a fort on a nearby island, and Mr. Horton was sent here to protect it. He built a big old house and established a plantation, and he's known for his ingenuity, I guess, because he used shells to build the walls, which still stand. Ownership of the island changed hands many times, but in the 1800s, Christophe de Bignon, a French immigrant, purchased the island, and it was in his family for 100 years. The Civil War ruined the plantation business, so the last heir decided to open a winter retreat for the wealthy. The Jekyll Island Club was an exclusive club for the wealthy, such as the Rockefellers, J.P. Morgan, Pulitzer, the Vanderbilts. They all came here for the winter months and lived in these simple little cottages. This is the home of one of the Rockefellers. They built their house right in the middle of an Indian mound, so that was disappointing. There are about 6 of these little cottages you can pay to take a tour, and they'll drive you around in a carriage so you can see them. But I was looking for something called the Chicada Ruins, which I hoped was another Indian mound, and I found this huge tree. It's the oldest tree on the island. And right beside it is what's left of Chicada Ruins. This was owned by the Gould family. Edwin Gould built his little cottage here, and the family would come down in the winter. Hunting was one of their favorite pastimes. In 1917, Edward Gould Jr. accidentally shot himself. His parents never came back to the island, and the house went to ruins. So now we'll leave the historic district and head to the shopping district. So I went to the little market up the street, Jekyll Market. Has a lot of gourmet food. Some of it's overpriced. But I picked up something they call Brunswick stew. I had no idea what it was. I'm still not exactly sure what's in it. Looks like maybe it has a little bit of... God, I hope I don't drop it. Maybe it has a little bit of crab. But it might be pulled pork too. Or chicken. It's got some veggies. But the taste is something I can't quite describe. It's wonderful. Here, have some. It's sweet. And it's hot. And there's something familiar about it. Jekyll Market is the only grocery store in the island. There's also only one gas station. The rest of the shopping is gifty or high-end clothing kind of stuff. So we're going to move on to the beaches. Right across the street from the only campground on the island is Clam Creek Pier. Clam Creek Pier is a large fishing pier at the end of this road. There's also a little store and some picnic areas. This guy pulled out about 3 fish while I was there. In just a short walk over this bridge, you get to the beach. All the beaches I saw were very much like this. They're kind of narrow, and the island goes out, the ground part goes way out into the water, so there's no waves really. Access to the Great Dunes Beach is from this parking lot at the convention center. The grass here was like a carpet, like a golf course or something. It just was really odd. As were the great sand dunes. Really, not so big. I mean, the sand dunes in Colorado, the white sands in New Mexico, the dunes at Death Valley. I mean, those are great sand dunes. These are just dunes. Now, on to what actually brought me to Jekyll Island. You just park on the side of the road. Excuse me. I'm going to wander on in. Well, I walked down through the center of that. I'm glad they aren't having their wedding yet. I'm going to assume this is part of that housing development or whatever it is over there. They built themselves a nice little wall. The sun's trying to come out. Well, this is interesting, but it's really not much of a beach.